Let's explore meditation's liberation from agenda. I had to take a second of cyclovir, so I ate some pumpernickel as a chaser. No, I've still got pumpernickel in the mouth, and I feel like a cow chewing his cud with glazed eyes of contentment. This evening's lesson is drawn from my adaptation of the 11th passage of Dzogpo Trul Rinpoche's Heart Treasure of the Enlightened Ones. Together, let's chant. Being learned these days might not help the teachings that could just lead to more debate. Being realized these days might not help others, it could just lead to more criticism. Being in a responsible position these days might not help govern the country well, it might only spread revolt. Think about these times with sorrow and disgust. There's nothing wrong with study. In fact, it can be quite useful. However, study can fuel the fires of our ambition and accelerate our momentum down the dark path of being rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. So let us study not to become a great scholar, but simply as its own reward, because it's fun. Same thing with practice. If you do 1 3-year retreats, or 2 3-year retreats, or 8 3-year retreats, it becomes very, very easy to fool the tourists. But let us practice not to become a so-called great yogi. But let us meditate and practice mindfulness and meditation as its own reward, because we find the process enjoyable and even fun. We can use our talents in the service of others. However, if we do that because we aspire to great authority, it will fuel our descent to the dark side. Better to simply use our talents in the service of others as its own reward, because being of service is a delight. Now, these are fine and noble words, but how do we apply them? Glad you asked. A fringe benefit of practicing mindfulness in harmony with our sympathetic nervous system, and practicing meditation in harmony with our parasympathetic nervous system, is that the blood ceases to congest around our anxious and aggressive amygdala, and instead coalesces around our anterior cingulate gyrus, just a few centimeters behind the forehead. It functions as the seat of empathy. It has been said by my teachers and their teachers' teachers that the highest love is spontaneous and uncontrived, and when our choices and utterances and deeds flow from the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity, then our life can be very much like a paradise. The more we meditate, the more we practice mindfulness, the more we will live from the flow state. And then study and practice and service will be as spontaneous as sneezing, or smiling at the antics of a kitty cat. I do look forward to chanting and meditating with you after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School, For more than 30 years, I spent more than 8 hours a day, every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of Buddhism so that you wouldn't have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. This evening, let us play with the very latest iteration of Chenrezig's Zeek's Easy Dzogchen. Chenrezig translates from the Tibetan into English as kind gaze and is translated from and is known in India as Avalokiteshvara. Better not to think of this image as a god or a goddess, but rather an archetype to remind us of the mastery of love and letting go. During the entirety of tonight's practice, we're going to flip and flop from mantra meditation and silent meditation and back. So it makes perfect sense to review the meaning of the mantra together. Om I invoke less wish of healing money, jewel, and letting goods purifying, pay me lotus, whom may all beings master this path. And thus we find the explanation of Om Mani Padme Hung. We're going to begin this evening's practice with Lama Kyeno, known in English as calling the teacher from afar, which is just a form of energy work that helps us to practice bliss and letting go. It's known by many names, including completion stage, Tantra, Bindu Mahamudra, Anu Yoga, and Tigle Drop. During our inhalation, we can silently and mentally recite, Lama, come to this crown. You see the image here of a four-armed individual representing compassion, loving kindness, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. This four-armed statue represents our Buddha nature, our enlightened potential, and this couple comprised of red light sporting in tantric union reminds us of the literal personification of the teachings and the metaphoric coalescence of real or imagined energy at the top of our head. So during our inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, Lama, come to this crown. What then do we do as we exhale? Well, we physically relax as best we can while striving to chant these 12 syllables 4 times per breath. Om mani padme hung, 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 om mani padme hung. With just 4 exercises, we can baby step our way to the mastery of meditation and mindfulness. Let us begin with the first step, which is delightfully clunky. But first, let us take a moment to review the mechanics of mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we mean to or not, we automatically access the sympathetic nervous system, ensconced not within the 3-pound supercomputer between our ears. It is found in the thoracic region of our spinal cord, the part that correlates with our rib cage. It has not evolved to support either extreme of mind blanking or active concentration, but instead to practice the middle ground of simply noticing, and doing so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. And it is this vulnerability that is reflected in the nudity of this meditational archetype described in Sanskrit as Samantabhadra, Samantabhadri, Karma Mundara. So, if we're not supposed to concentrate upon our breath, then what are we supposed to do with our breath? And the answer is we are to treat our breath the way a musical student might treat a metronome. When we notice that we are breathing in, we could silently and mentally recite, perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. This was inspired by the teachings from Tulku Tundap. As we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite, relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. Teachings inspired by Chagdud Tulku. Come, let us practice. Now let us play with the outer preliminary practices, or ngondro. It is by noticing the stress of others that we create fertile ground for the vine of empathy to grow in our hearts. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Upon the path of yang, we use interdependence to frighten us to do the right thing. Upon the path of yin, we rejoice in interdependence that our love might benefit others. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. According to the Buddha's most popular meditation manual, the essence of wisdom is simply the observation of change. For doing so makes of grasping folly. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Whether it's the wisdom of letting go or the love that lends a helping hand, let us make the most of each chance, each opportunity to practice the Buddha's teachings. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. We take our second baby step upon the path of the mastery of mindfulness and meditation. Let's take a moment to consider meditation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, and whether we intend to or not, we're accessing our parasympathetic nervous system, ensconced not within the 3-pound supercomputer between our ears, but instead in our spinal cord's lower lumbar region, as well as the tippy top of its cervical region. This parasympathetic nervous system supports us in both physical relaxation as well as mental release. So, every time we relax, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel less graspable. Now let's wax figurative. Every time we relax, every time we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although is tantalizing to the eye, is intangible to the hand. Perhaps that is why this meditational archetype, known in Tibet as Kuntu Zangpo, Kuntu Zangmo, Yabyum, is depicted as of comprised of light, translucent, and non-graspable. As we inhale, let us silently and mentally recite sitting tall, generating a vertical traction between our tuchus and our head. And during our exhalation, let us silently and mentally recite relaxing. We continue with the inner preliminary practices, or Ngondro. May we long to free all beings everywhere from the tyranny of the three poisons of hating and craving and confusion. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. How are we going to accomplish this fine and noble task? By relying upon the three jewels of the Buddha's example and instructions and students. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. As we grow in emotional maturity, let us, instead of squandering energy on defensiveness or self-loathing, let us apply that energy that we might learn from all our many mistakes. The ones that keep coming back to us as we sit in meditation and that prey upon our self-esteem. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. Reminded of the line from the Red Hot Chili Peppers song, "Don't want to keep it like a miser." Let us lovingly wish to share all our stuff, real or imagined, with others. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. As we touched upon during the opening lesson, a fringe benefit of mindfulness and meditation is that we experience the highest love, which is spontaneous and uncontrived. Our blood ceases to gather at our angry and anxious amygdala and instead coalesces about our anterior cingulate gyrus, the hub of our mirror neurons, just a few centimeters behind our forehead. Perhaps that is why all good father and mother sporting in tantric union are depicted as beautiful. During our perceptive inhalation, let us silently and mentally recite, "Notice this." And during our releasing exhalation, let us silently and mentally recite, "Relaxing." Let us bring Guru Yoga, also known in Tibet as Lama, into Energy Work's path of bliss and letting go. As we breathe in, let us silently and mentally recite Lama, come to this heart. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. We come to our fourth step upon the path of mastery of mindfulness and meditation. Consider the abandon with which a cloud-colored gal sports in tantric union. This reminds us of the superiority of spontaneity to contrivance. Consider the passivity of her partner, savoring the experience, which reminds us that the highest spontaneity is not scattered, but centered. When our choices, utterances, and deeds flow from the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity, our life can be very much like a paradise. In fact, I think I'm going to do a quick edit and replace this beautiful image of a brain insert with an image of a lithograph painted by Maxfeld Parrish. Give me a moment while I rummage about my metaphoric toolbox. Going to Dzogchen, going to C, going to Chenrezig, going to Easy Dzogchen, 2024. Let's go over here and let's try over here. There we go. Copy. And the old pastaroni. Excellent. Okay, not perfect, but close enough for government work. During our perceptive inhalation, let us silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and during our releasing exhalation, let us silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. Let us bring the experience of the 4 bases of mindfulness: the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental, into the conventional path of love and letting go, where it is love that is emphasized. This is known by many names, including generation or creation stage tantra, Tantra Mahamudra Mahayoga, or Tokal's leap over jealousy and pride. Please chant with me. So what we're going to do is we're going to use words to exercise wishing love. No, it's not our job to visualize or emote or believe or work magic. It's enough to simply play with these words in harmony with our breathing. May all minds of all beings know be as peacefully wise as the mind of a Buddha of law symbolized by a tikle one syllable seed or bija mantra. I think it might be easier on the eyes if I put a little teeny tiny space in there. And let's make it a 4. Excellent. In the words of Mr. Burns. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. Oopsie, having some trouble here with my coordination. Please bear with me. Om mani bimi yung, om mani bimi yung. Now that we reach contemplative cruising altitude together as a team, let us meditate as profoundly as Qui-Gon Jinn on Naboo. May all relationships of all beings now be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddha's communication symbolized by the 6-syllable mantra. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. May all bodies of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health depicted in Buddhist art. Of the blissful body of a Yedama for an archetype of enlightenment such as Chen raising. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the good fortune or boon as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land or Vanti. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi mani mimi um. Again, let us bring the experience of the 4 bases of mindfulness, this time into the ultimate path of love and letting go, where it is letting go that is emphasized. As we inhale, we can notice all minds, perceptions, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings quite clearly. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or for is a real or imagined bija seeds of love light. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. Welcome to this evening's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. So what we're going to do is first verbally play with this one ridiculously long run-on sentence. During our next inhalation, we're going to silently and mentally recite its rather concise synopsis. And then we're going to physically relax as best we can, while striving to chant these 12 syllables 4 times per breath. Together, as we inhale, the interpersonal experience of communication or speech could sound quite resounding. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable or what is a real or imagined mantra of light. And yes, working with figures of speech, such as similes, metaphors, and hyperbole, can be cumbersome and confusing. But we evolved to think symbolically, and by working with figures of speech, we are addressing the deepest parts of our mind. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. Let's chant. As we inhale, all bodies or forms could feel quite sensual. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or what is a real or imagined archetypal yidam of light. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. As we inhale, all lots of circumstances could appear quite vivid. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel it is not graspable, or for it is a real or imagined paradise or vati of light. You see, the Buddha was fond of working with the four bases of mindfulness: the mental, the interpersonal, the physical, and the circumstantial. And by working with these archetypes of mind, communication, body, and circumstance, it helps us to viscerally process this information. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. So now let us rest in Ati Yoga's utmost union of mindfulness and meditation. How do we do that? Simple. During our inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this as we experience visceral perception. During each exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax, as mentally we release. Let us bring the horizontal duality of us and them into the dance of impermanence and interdependence known as the yoga of inconceivability. All circumstances or loss could blissfully and impermanently melt into rainbow light that interdependently absorbs into this body or form. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. All forms of bodies could blissfully and impermanently melt into rainbow light that interdependently absorbs into this communicational speech. Om mani bimi yung, om mani bimi yung, om mani bimi yung, om mani bimi yung, om Om Mani Mimi Yung, Om Mani Mimi Yung, Om Mani Mimi Yung, Om Mani Mimi Yung. All interpersonal speech could blissfully and impermanently melt into rainbow light that interdependently absorbs into this mind. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. All minds could blissfully and impermanently melt into rainbow light that interdependently absorbs into our vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be not graspable to the hand. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Let us slice through the duality of dread and desire. Let us transcend the vertical duality of samsara nirvana by metaphorically inviting all the real or imagined Buddhas, their paradises, and their denizens to dwell in the 84,000 pores of our skin, thus practicing the body mandala of duality's awareness and non-duality's release. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Let us us rest in Trekcho's slice through the duality of dread and desire. Let us bring the 5 aggregates or piles into the path of awareness and letting go, which is known as Dzogchen's Great Completion Stage Tantra. Sutra Mahamudra, Ati Yoga, and Trekcho, which translates as slice through the duality of dread and desire. Let us relax into this awareness. Om Mani Bimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Bimi Yung. Let us relax into this experience of feeling pleasure or pain, or neutral. Om Mani Bimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Bimi Yung. Let us relax into the experience of appraising the intensity or volume of our feelings. Om Mani Bimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Bimi Yung. Let us relax into the instinctive, impulsive reaction to our feelings, which can be kind of scary. Om Mani Bimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Bimi Yung. Let us relax into the awareness of this form. Om Mani Bimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Bimi Yung. Let us rest in Trekcho. Let us bring the 5 mental poisons into the path of awareness and letting go. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever hatred we might have experienced during our inhalation can begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as mirror-like wisdom. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever pride we might have noticed during our inhalation can begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as equalizing wisdom. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever greed or craving we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as discerning wisdom. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. Welcome to this evening's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. So we're going to flip and flop between mantra meditation and silent meditation. During mantra meditation, during the inhalation, we silently and mentally recite this bit in italics. And during the exhalation, we physically relax as best we can while striving to chant these 12 syllables 4 times per breath. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever jealousy we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as all-accomplishing wisdom. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever confusion we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as all-pervasive wisdom. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. And now let us rest in Treksho, which is very simple. During our inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this as we experience passive perception. During our exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax, thus experiencing effortless release. Let us bring the 5 perceptions into the path of awareness and letting go. Let us relax into the awareness of our sensations. Om Mani Bimi Yung 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 Om Mani Bimi Yung. Let us relax into our awareness of flavor. Om Mani Bimi Yung 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 Om Mani Bimi Yung. Let us relax into the awareness of sound. Om Mani Bimi Yung 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 Om Mani Bimi Yung. Let us relax into the awareness of scent. Om Mani Bimi Yung 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 Om Mani Bimi Yung. Let us relax into the awareness of sight. Om Mani Bimi Yung 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 Om Mani Bimi Yung. And now let us rest in slice through. Let us bring the 5 thoughts into the path of awareness and letting go. Let us relax into the awareness of these emotions. Om Mani Bimi Yung 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 Om Mani Bimi Yung. Let us relax into the awareness of our intentions. So here's the cool thing. All we have to do is silently and mentally play with these words, and we let our subconscious do the heavy lifting. Om Mani Bimi Yung 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 Om mani bimi yung, om mani bimi yung. Let us relax into the awareness of these cognitions. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. Let us relax into the awareness of these recollections. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. Let us relax into the awareness of these imaginings. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. Let us rest in, let us slice through the duality of dread and desire. That's weird. Let us bring the spontaneous play of mind into the path of awareness and letting go. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. Let us seal this practice with the love that wishes for the universal mastery of Buddha's Eightfold Path. May all master letting go and love. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. May all master kind communication, conduct, and commerce. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. May all master the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. Om mani bimi yung, 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 om mani bimi yung. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 2/3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.